Hello and welcome back to German Online Gym. Today I'd like to give you 3 language learning tips on how to use ChatGPT that have helped me a lot while learning languages myself. I also highly recommend these techniques to my students. So let's start right away with tip number 1. Talk to ChatGPT. I don't mean the voice chat where ChatGPT has a real conversation with you using an artificial voice. That's also fine, but I'm talking about the small microphone icon in the app that transcribes what you're saying and ChatGPT gives you a written answer. Now, what do I mean specifically? The other day I was walking in the forest, and as I had some time, I asked ChatGPT to assess my level of Slovenian, which I've been learning on and off for several years. ChatGPT asked me to speak for 3 to 5 minutes continuously about a certain topic, and we repeated that several times with different topics. At the end, ChatGPT assessed my grammar, the way I express myself, my ability to argue, my use of vocabulary, and stuff like that. The feedback was super helpful, and I could learn a lot from it about how to improve my fluency and use of grammar. Now, I was curious about my language level, but you can do this just to get feedback on how to improve your speaking and maybe find mistakes that you make without even realizing it. And that brings me to tip number 2. Ask ChatGPT to create a collection of German phrases that you can use automatically in conversations. Stuff like, in my opinion, on the one hand, on the other hand, I agree, I don't agree, it depends. But also expressions and exclamations such as, oh yeah, you're right, totally, sure, etc. These phrases are very helpful in discussions, and they make your speech sound natural, alive, and expressive, rather than dry and simple. It's like adding spices to a dish to make it more interesting. Alright, let's move on to tip number 3. Write a script for several topics that are important to you. That can be about your family, your work, hobbies, interests, and current events. In short, every topic that could frequently come up in a conversation. You can write the script in German or in your native language, then ask ChatGPT to correct or translate it. And when you're happy with the result, you start memorizing these texts. It's important that you know the vocabulary and the sentence structure very well, because that will give you a lot of confidence when you speak. This technique has several advantages. First of all, you don't study boring textbook vocabulary that you would never use, but words you really need because they are related to your personal life and interests. Another advantage is that you'll speak more fluently because you don't have to think about how to form a correct sentence. You know that your script is correct, and you can simply use it in a conversation instead of looking for words and grammar while speaking. And lastly, it gives you a structure for building correct sentences if you need to improvise and talk about less familiar topics. I even recommend combining tip number 3 and tip number 1. Learn these texts by heart and then talk with ChatGPT about them. Because when you actually talk freely for several minutes, a lot of learning will happen. And in addition, ChatGPT will give you valuable feedback. All right, those were the 3 tips for language learning with AI. What about you? How do you use ChatGPT for language learning? I look forward to reading your ideas in the comments. And if you'd like to improve your German in an efficient, structured way, please check out my online courses. You can find the link in the description. And finally, if this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and auf Wiedersehen!